All right, me and Sean are back. Some crazy things going on in the market these days. Time to buy, hold, sell. What should you do? Well, we'll go over a lot of it tonight. Sean, good to see you.
What's up, Mike?
Again. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Let's this week we'll just take a break from the whole guest thing since we were overwhelmed last week with.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was a full throttle hour plus with Ravel.
Yeah.
Kind of like almost take a breather tonight and just go over some auctions and just talk about what's going on with some of the sales we've seen and kind of our plans going forward.
Yeah. So what's up with you? What's new?
Not much. I want to take a look at these auctions. We haven't gone through some of them. There's some big ones that happen. Let me pull these up. So I got this one pulled up. So, we're talking about the Pippin debut went for 4,200. Which give me your thoughts on that sale.
So I was trying to win that one, although I wasn't being super aggressive on it, but I was going to bid on it, and then it went from I think 870 or something with a few seconds left to. So there was people who were at least two people were very serious about it because I think this is a really aggressive price for it given the more recent sales in the market. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty decent. It's an ugly ticket. It's not like a season ticket holder version. Pippin's a top 50 player of all time. I thought it was a pretty good price. I would have rather have sold it on a heritage auction. The thing I hate about eBay auctions is kind of twofold. Is one, when that clock strikes zero, it's over. There's no extended bidding. You can't get people to start bidding irrationally, which you'll find in the big auction houses.
Yeah.
And the other thing, sometimes the eyeballs just don't see them. Good example. You were talking to me about this ticket, and I have a setting on it. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to get another one. I don't know if I'd pay as much as they're going to go for, but I didn't see this ticket, and I definitely would be bidding on it. But there's some people that may not see tickets on eBay because you have a 7 or 10 day window to get that notification or just search it. Where with an auction house, you have more than likely 30, 45 days to find it or somebody tell you about it.
And so the advantage of eBay used to be that the fees were better compared to the big auction houses, right?
Right.
But now it seems like I'm not a big seller, but I get all the ads and all the emails and stuff trying to get consignment. Seems like the auction houses are a lot more competitive when it comes to giving part of the buyer premium to the seller and all of that. So it's maybe not even advantageous from a fees standpoint because eBay fees keep going up. Is that right?
Yeah, unless you're doing with some eBay consignor, which could get you maybe like 6 or 8%, you're probably looking at 10 to 12, 13% when you sell on eBay, where with, if you have an auction house, probably the most they're going to take from you is 10. But if you give them some big boy tickets, they'll either even make it even or give you 5% back on top of what it sold for.
Yeah.
So, those are the advantages.
What do you think the threshold is to get it up to 5%? So you get 5%.
I mean, you could get even at, say, if you give them a $15,000 ticket, I think you start having some leverage. And once you go above 20, 30, 40K, if you give them a bunch of tickets, they'll say, hey, we'll give you 5, maybe 10%. I'm sure if you have a monster, they may say 10 or 12 or 15 would be insanely high. But you got to figure they're taking 20% on both ways. I mean, they're making 40% on a sale, which is one heck of a business to be in.
Yeah. So if you can get that kind of rate, then it seems like 50. Then you're basically giving up 15% of the overall price compared to the eBay, which is probably 12, 13% if you're selling it on your own. So it's not a huge advantage to go through eBay, right?
No, I mean, it's not, but you can do it from home and you can ship it from home. With the auction house, you got to set it up, maybe negotiate, ship it to them.
Yeah. And so you can do it a lot faster on eBay.
Right. You want to sell, and that's interesting point because a lot of times these auction houses want them 2 or 3 months in advance of the auction close. We know a lot can happen within 2 or 3 months. I mean, we've seen in the last 2 months what's happened to the the stock market, the bond market, the crypto market. Holy hell, like it's dropped 20%, if not more, in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Are you into crypto at all?
No, I don't have any crypto. USD for me, I feel like they need to get rid of all the crazy leverage and the stable coins. There's just too much underneath the system that scares me. When a guy told me he was getting 20% on his money, I immediately was like, there's something too good to be true, too good to be true. But I still think there's definitely a future in it. I just don't know how it all shake out. It seems like it's very .com-ish where it's going to get real ugly, and then there's going to be some massive winners and something like that. But who knows? If I knew the answer to that, I'd be a billionaire because I'd go put all my money in the right things. But I think these things do have an effect. The wealth effect is real. When you feel strong, when you feel wealthy, your 401k and your crypto.
Yeah.
Those red numbers, those red arrows on your statement, you're not feeling so cocky to go drop 2, 3, 4, 5K on a ticket, and even lower amounts.
Yeah.
For people who aren't big spenders, a $300 or $400 ticket, it's a big purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. And I kind of feel I have the same sense of the market in general. And it seems like everything is going down, everything is correcting. So, we're in for a little bit of a ride, but if you're a hardcore collector like me, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some auctions where it's like, definitely you can see the corrections.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a good example, like a Wilt 100, the PSA 3, was at 107, and then like we've talked about, they see a monster sale and they all come out of the woodwork. Well, 2 of them sold. A 2 went for 51. Of course, the 3's better, but if you would have asked me before if everything was even, you would think if a 3 went for 107, a 2 should do what?
80.
70, 80.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a drop off there, and that's I think part of the fact that we've seen about 7 or 8 sell in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think you said there was 22 of them. Is that right?
I think 24, and I think we've seen damn near half of them in the last year.
I think we've absolutely seen half of them sell in the last year. Yeah. And that's a huge, so I think what's going to happen is the same thing that we talked about this, where they all dry up and then everybody hasn't seen one for another year or something. And all of a sudden one comes on the market, it goes for a huge price a year from now. And then they all start that same process.
Yeah, I think it's like new owners now have a new floor they'd probably be willing to sell theirs at.
Right.
So new collectors, but listen, Leland had some interesting sales. I guess somebody basically liquidated their freaking really amazing Ali collection. Did you take a look at all these tickets on here?
Yeah, I saw those. I'm not a big Ali collector, but some really interesting ones here.
I really wanted to buy this, but man, as soon as it got to like 10 or 15K, this is the Thrilla in Manila. Final price was 22K. It's a full.
Wow.
And it's really, really cool. But I'm like, man, but this is what we talk about. I've never seen a full, and these are super rare. Yeah. So the ones that are super rare go for the stupid prices. But then I'm thinking to myself, man, people are going to see this now. We're going to start seeing these come out of people's shoe boxes or, out of their safes.
Yeah.
They're out there, but
I mean, I've never seen one of these. Have you?
I seen a few years ago. There were some stubs like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 1 or 2 I've seen.
Yeah.
Like a stub went for like 2,000 back in the day or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's crazy expensive.
It was a huge event, but it was in a different country. So how would those survive?
Right. And I have one of these, but it's a stub. Man, like somebody had all these crazy full Ali insane tickets.
Mm-hmm.
This is a full, but it's pretty beat up, pretty faded. I mean, it went for 19,000, right?
Yeah.
I think a stub earlier went for like 10 or 11 that I was interested in, but like I said, I have one, and I don't want to spend that much on another one.
Yeah.
I would have, all things being equal, I would have loved to have had this one, but I better really, really love Ali and really want it to be dropping freaking 20K. But heck, in a year or two, mate, who could be more?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now with the way things are. I really want to buy something that I truly collect and want to hold until the day I die. I'm at that point right now with all the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Before I was doing more speculating, like, oh, I'm buy this, I like it, I may think it'd go up, but now I'm more like, man, unless I love it, I'm probably not going to buy it right now, just because things are so kooky and things are coming out of people's closets and safes lately.
Well, that's how welcome to the club. I've had that same approach for the last year. Well, maybe not year, but like 6 to 8 months. Ever since the prices just went crazy, it really has to be something that wows me, or just something that completely slips under the radar. And that would have to be, a private sale or some eBay buy it now that you happen to be the first to see, that type of thing. And that's basically what I've been doing the last several months, because a real auction of a really good ticket is just going to go for so much more than I can afford. So it's kind of just watching and seeing what happens. But now we might be shifting back a little bit. So
yeah, it just this really shows you, if you told me, oh, an Ali Cleveland Williams, I know nothing about this fight, right? But it's a full and it's insanely rare, and it went for $7,800.
Yeah, see that, and it's to Ali collectors is probably just amazing, because
no doubt.
But to somebody who's not an Ali collector like me, it's just kind of, it doesn't meet with me. So
I mean, here's more Ali fulls, 7,500, 7,500, 7,100, like fights I've never even heard of, but Ali collectors, going wild over them, which I get it.
And that's really cool. Whoever is big into that, whether it was a seller or the buyer, I'd like to have them on.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the Ali collectors out there and what they thought of these sales. This was a big sale. Like we've talked about, these debut tickets, like World Series, have stayed really hot. I know this one's really rare, or pretty rare, being a full, but went for 10,000. The Mays Mantle first World Series game.
Yeah, the full, the real World Series collectors, they go after the full ones because they're actually rare. The stubs are not rare. Like there was probably 57,000 people at that game. So why, World Series, obviously everybody's going to save it. There's probably at least 10,000 that exist. I mean, I'm just guessing, but
right.
Full tickets, on the other hand, those are actually rare. So that's what the real World Series collectors.
Yeah, more Ali's, between Ali 3,000 to 5,000. I've seen these come out lately. This is an interesting one. I wish I would have bought years ago. It's that Glory Road, the first starting 5.
Yeah, I know. This we've seen like 3 of these sales, right? Recently.
Yeah, there was another one on another auction house, if I can find it. I think went for more than this.
I think it was Hunt. Wasn't it Hunt?
I think you're right. You know what? I think I have it up right here. Here it is. Yeah, Glory Road graded. This is a good example of another one getting pulled out. So this was an authentic, and it went for 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then back over on Leland's, it came out. This one went for 5 with a semifinal. And this one actually looks nicer. It's just not graded.
Yeah. It's weird. Sometimes we see the value of it just being slabbed to a lot of people. To the hardcore ticket collector, it's not that big of a value boost. But
and that's what I've said before. That's why I get all my stuff slabbed, because if I want to sell it, it does get a premium. I think there's no doubt.
No question about it.
Other tickets, stop me if anything you see on here you find interesting. Maris is 61. I wonder how many of those are out there. 3,400 PSA 2.
There's a lot of those out there. I was actually surprised that it went for that much. This one is one of those rare tickets that, because somebody broke the record, then the value of it kind of went down, but now I think that's just about the highest I've seen it go for.
Yeah,
Usually it's about a
I haven't watched
2,000,
it too
1,500,
closely, but it
2,000.
seemed a good amount. The Bobby Orr, a couple of those came out. Stubs.
Yeah.
This is beat to hell, but went for 3,300.
Yeah, it's weird because the other one in the same auction went for I think 1,500, and it was similar poor condition.
Yeah, I
So
think the other one. Let me see if I can find the other one.
there it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, here it is. Man, this one is 1,400, and it's these are really beat to hell. This is another one. It's just like about as big as your thumbnail almost.
Yeah. But I mean, if both of them are in terrible condition, I think I would go for the cheaper one. But that's just me. You're not getting a premium by a little bit better condition, you think? Well, I guess it's the other one's a little bit harder to read. So the eye appeal is definitely better on the one went for 3,000.
More Ali's. I mean, yeah, somebody liquidated their Ali collection. This is a really cool ticket. I have one of these. It's the Tuck game, and it just looks cool too, with the Patriot logo. Kind of like the first historic Brady game, other than him coming in for his first historic playoff game. And I guess is this his playoff debut? I would think, right? Or he was a wild card. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But I think that's a great ticket. It went for 2,200. Those have steadily gone up over the years for sure.
Yeah.
And then you start getting to the lower price stuff. I thought this was, tell me about this. You probably know more about this ticket than I do. The Ricky Henderson breaks the record. It's auto. Do you have a guess what that went for?
I didn't see it, so I would guess 800.
Went for 1,500.
I mean, that's an extremely common ticket. It's not, that record was really hyped when it happened, and everybody was anticipating it, so everybody was saving tickets.
This is one of my all-time favorite tickets, but this one was pretty beat to hell. It went for 19. God, this one is really bad shape. This is the Duke Leitner, the shot game. Man, that thing is beat up.
Yeah,
it still went for almost $2,000, which gives you an idea what a nice one will go for.
That's one of those that I had never seen before until just maybe 6-7 months ago. Or I think yours might have been the first one that I saw. And
those have popped up more and more, but I feel like people that are buying those, like, say goodnight. I don't think that's the thing. That's what I love about the ticket collecting is, what percent are collectors and speculators. And at its peak, I would say at its worst, maybe 20-30% speculating.
Yeah.
And now, I feel like speculators are going to start going away, and it's back to the collectors. And, that's where the long term is, where, you never see things again. Well, when the time you decide to sell, when you're old and gray, there's probably going to be somebody out there who really wants it, and it's going to be stupid expensive because nobody sees them anymore.
Every once in a while, somebody is old and gray, and they sell theirs, and everybody clamors for it because they so rarely see it. Unlike with cards.
Right. It's very, very liquid. Yeah, I've seen a lot of these lately. Is the Jordan, and there must be so many out there of those. We made the shot, which is an awesome Jordan ticket to have. They're just pretty common, but this one went for 1,100. That's kind of, I feel like they've been trending down a little just because so many have been hitting the market.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the Lelands. There's a couple other randoms like gray flannel. We were talking about that. You didn't even know about the gray flannel auction, did you?
I think I glanced through it maybe, but I didn't see anything. So it was off anything I was interested in. So it wasn't anything I went back to, but that LeBron full debut was interesting. I don't know what it was, what the last one sold for, but it seems like 22,000 is kind of high.
You haven't seen a full in a long time, though. There's actually like 20-some fulls, which surprises me. My guess it would have been in like the 10 or 12 number because there's so many stubs out there, and you had to go in the arena. I think most of the time they rip your stub. I don't know if they were actually scanning. I don't know what they were doing back in 03, 04.
Yeah, it seems like for a little while they kind of did both or either.
Right.
And it might have depended on what gate you went through or something, but you see with the barcode on it, so it looks like they could have scanned it, but there's so many torn ones that you know that they were tearing them. So
Right.
it's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
there's quite a few fulls, but an 8 is really high, and it is basically LeBron. And I felt people were kind of sleeping on LeBron. We talked about that, how he's going to break the all-time points record. If he's not first, he's first or second all-time greatest player. I mean, you could argue other, but he's iconic. And I think over time, history will look, smile upon him, even though a lot of, there's a lot of people who don't care for LeBron right now.
Yeah, those kinds of things blow over, though. The political stuff, it'll be
right. We'll be in a different era in 10 or 20 years from now, and everybody will be all warm and fuzzy about how amazing he was.
Yeah, I mean, Muhammad Ali is a good example of that. He was a pretty controversial figure back in his day. And
so the SCP that had the Jackie auction, we talked about that, but man, they had some few that didn't sell. The lights out ticket didn't sell.
Shocker, $500 for that. So I already talked about that. There was, I'm sure that there was a few more like that too. But
that was
that's a $150 ticket.
But they had some big sales that would surprise me. The Game 1 Mantle Maze Stub, $2,400 PSA authentic. I mean, I feel like we're going to see a lot of these hit the market because I feel like a lot of people are holding these type of tickets.
Yeah, because a few years ago it was a $200 ticket, so they can 10x their money if they put them on the market.
The last games are still super strong. Anything Jackie still strong. His final game. I think there's like 60 of these or something graded. 4,500 PSA 2.
See, I would rather have his final regular season game. He hit his final home run in that game, and I just prefer that one. I don't know, over the World Series.
And there's some other ones, nothing too crazy. Of course, the Jackie. We talked about that last week. Then there's a few other auction. The Golden had their recent one. They had a Jordan the shot went for 8,400, a full. That was one I was really interested in, but it's kind of beat up. I love that ticket. It's Jordan. I haven't really seen a full. There's only like 5 of them. I kind of equate that to like Babe Ruth's shot heard around the world because it's kind of a common ticket. It's probably his most historic. The Babe Ruth has that comic book aspect, superhero, supernatural thing to it. Jordan just has probably his top moment, but it's Michael Jordan. So those tickets, I feel like, and there's a lot of them, so you can find them out there. They're just expensive, of course. There it is. But yeah, usually blue. This one's purple and it's full. So it's just very rare. And that's kind of why it went for 8,400. Usually a stub will go for like 4th at 5,000 right now of the same quality. Gold's going a little slow today. Oh, the shot heard around the world. We've seen a couple of these sales. So like, we talked about that before. We saw one that was on Hunt that sold. Let me see. Let me pull it up.
I think it was like 15,000, wasn't it?
Over 14,000 was a PSA 2.
Yeah.
And then a few months later on Golden, 1.5 went for 8,400.
Yeah.
So you get that effect of, it's, one's already been sold, and then somebody sells theirs and it doesn't go for as much, which we've kind of seen.
But also, to what extent do you think that that's just the platform? Because people who are looking for this kind of ticket don't typically go to Golden, in my opinion. I mean, I never expect this kind of ticket to land on Golden.
Right. I feel like that's part of it. I feel like Golden is old school baseball tickets. I feel like are not for Golden.
Yeah. They're for Heritage or Hunt or REA, Leland's. Yeah.
They're more of like the new school tickets, football, basketball,
soccer.
a lot of that. and we've talked about how they just throw everything against the wall and then say, go get it. Kind of their MO.
Have fun. Yeah.
But it looks like, that was some old one. But you want to talk about a ticket coming up that you think is insanely rare and awesome.
Yeah. This one. Heritage. This one's a Heritage. And so this is the famous Babe Bows Out ticket, with the Nat Fine photo of him kind of from behind where you see the number 3. I think Darren Ravel posted a story about it today or yesterday. I forget. But anyway, he's got the stub. The stubs are relatively common for this game, but full tickets are not. This is just incredible, and the condition that it's in, it's got a big crease in the middle. But man, that is an amazing ticket. Sometimes I see a ticket that that just makes me say wow, and that's one of them to a baseball collector, because the full version of it is tough to find.
Yeah, I'm very big on the look of it, and it just has that eye appeal. Like, man, that thing is looks good too. It's not only historic; it has that awesome, the Yankee logo, and just clean.
And so it gets back to what we were just talking about, was the advantage of getting it slabbed. Why do you think it's not slabbed?
Man, I guess it's just some old school non-collector who just took it to Heritage and.
So, but doesn't Heritage say, well, we'll pay to get the slabbed and we'll just charge you because it's going to go for a lot more or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, Heritage usually says if you get us to it in time, we'll get it to Heritage and get it slabbed. But yeah, that's a question I'd like answered. Why wouldn't you want to get this slabbed?
Yeah, I mean, because of the fact that it's in such nice condition, you'd think that you'd want to give the kind of peace of mind, because if it's in really great condition, you'd think that, well, maybe it's a reproduction or something, and that's why it's not slabbed. So I mean, obviously they're advertising that it's not, so it's not. But why not give that peace of mind by getting it authenticated from a third party? I don't know, but maybe they are, and they just don't have that image yet because it's a future auction, and this is just a preview. So who knows?
Yeah, it's coming up. I think it's in July, and they'll have quite a few more cool tickets. That's for
yeah.
Sure.
This one, it's pretty impressive. I'm excited to see what that one goes for. I definitely out of my price range.
So if you, for one reason or another, had to sell your collection right now, how would you feel about the timing of having to do it now?
If I just had to, for financial reasons?
Financial reasons. You got to sell your tickets, one reason or another.
I wouldn't think that it's the worst time. It's certainly not the worst time, but it's not the best time. But it's impossible, unless you're just really, really lucky, it's impossible to identify the best time, if that makes sense, because you're going up this mountain as the market increases, and then but never know exactly what point you're at the peak, and we're heading back down, but we're not all the way down. So it's not the worst time. If I sold all my stuff, I would still come out way ahead of whatever I paid for it. So, and that's kind of what I look at. So I don't, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but obviously not the best either.
Yeah, I feel like the peak was that Jackie.
Yeah, and you called it too. That's what you said then. So it was that auction. That was was that February?
Yeah, right around February.
Yeah.
And then, the month or two afterwards, but that seems like the top of people are just, money means nothing. I'll spend whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And now it's not whatever it takes anymore. It's, the price is too high. I'm not going to bid anymore. When before it was 50,000. Well, I'll go 60. 60. Oh, I'll go 70.
Yeah. And it seemed like these just random tickets were going for crazy prices that was just mind-boggling, and now you don't see that as much anymore. So you see actual rare tickets that are tough to find go for good, solid prices, and that's how it should be.
Right. It seems like it's more reasonable. The super rare stuff goes for really high prices. The stuff that doesn't course, you have outliers like anything else. Some go much lower, some go much higher than you expect. But yeah, it's definitely different than it was 4 or 5 months ago. But
Well,
still,
what about you? How do you feel about if you had to sell right now? Where you would?
It's just hard because, like, if I have some items I plan on sending to Heritage, but that 2-month lag time, you don't know. I mean, what if if the market drops another 20% and people are getting laid off and people are not going to be spending money on high dollar tickets? But there's a lot of unknown. But then again, the rare high quality stuff will still fetch a good price.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you. It's not the best time, but it's not the worst time either.
Yeah. So I guess it gets back to that thing of if you have something that you want to sell and it's really common, then maybe it's not a good time. But if you have something you want to sell and it is really rare, like your Hakeem Olajuwon, then it's probably as good a time as any.
Yeah, and I'll show this is definitely going to Heritage. I showed that last week. It's that Olajuwon debut.
Yeah. And what did it grade?
It graded a 5 full, which is really high. Higher than I thought it was going to be. I was hoping for 5 is kind of what I was hoping for, but you never know what they'll go for. Some other items I planned on selling at Heritage. It's like the highest Jackie World Series debut, Stub. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5. And I'm not, much of a debut guy, World Series.
Why don't you just throw that on eBay then? Is it already, you already have it on eBay?
The thing I've figured out with eBay, another beauty of selling tickets on the big auction houses is when you're bidding and somebody else bids at a high price, it almost validates the value to you when you're bidding. So it kind of encourages you to bid higher. And when you put it for a fixed price on eBay for a high dollar amount and it sits there for a week, then people start thinking to themselves, why is it still up there? Is it not worth that much? I'm interested, but if somebody else hasn't bought it, maybe I don't think it's worth that much and I don't want to overpay. Yeah. When you get in that auction extended territory, you're like, oh, wow,
somebody else wants it. Yeah.
Somebody else wants it at 9,000. Well, I'll bid 10 because it's worth that much.
Do you ever do just straight auctions on eBay?
Yeah. I put, if I have $200 or $300, I auctioned off Terrell Owens on the Star ticket. That game where he was on the Star and he got blasted by George Teague. I did a Herschel Walker debut on there, but also I feel like they could have gone for more because I don't feel like enough eyeballs got on them. And then when the clock ticks 0, that's it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't disappointed, but I was like, man, I feel like it could have got a little more for him.
Yeah.
This one was an interesting one. I wish I would have sold this 3 or 4 months ago. It's a Manning Fold 10 debut, PSA 10, which, like I said, you can't get any better than it. I have a debut season ticket holder autographed. I think I'm going to sell that one. I'm not for sure. A lot of these, I think. A Giannis 10 debut. I guess you can give me your thoughts on any of these if you have any hot opinions.
The Giannis. Well, I mean, you know how I feel about the Giannis. It's you might as well hang on to that one and see how the market changes unless you sell it on eBay because it's. I mean, there's so many of those. How many are graded at this point?
There are, there's only 12 10s ungraded, and then 12. There's some signed. And it's so.
Oh, and yours is a 10?
Yeah, it's a 10. Yeah. So that's the only reason I put it on Heritage.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Yeah, you might as well. You can always get another one.
I love this ticket, but I have duplicate, and it's just cool. It's the Brady. Very, very first game preseason.
I thought you sold one of those. No?
Yeah, I've had. I think I had 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let me see a few other ones. This is a cool ticket I sold on Facebook. For all you music people, Eddie Van Halen played with Michael Jackson, the Beat It song on stage, only time ever.
Interesting.
Yeah. And one of the guys on Facebook, Boogers, bought it, who's a really smart, I won't say his name. I'm like, it kind of validated what I thought about the ticket because he snap bought it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I feel like if you put it out there and put that info, I mean, it's two of the probably one greatest pop stars and greatest guitarists of all time, playing together, one of the most famous pop songs.
Yeah.
Let me see if there any other cool stuff. Like racing, this is a ticket I speculated on. It's a Lewis Hamilton F1 debut ticket.
Mm-hmm.
F1's kind of blown up. I bought it a while back with the intention of selling it. So it's kind of one of those like, well, we'll see if I was
time to do it.
That.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand the whole F1 craze. I think it's an international popular sport. And so it's kind of catching hold in the US.
Yeah. That Netflix documentary, just people loved it. And it just put a lot of eyeballs on the sport and the spectacle of it. And it just really has kind of blown up in the last couple years.
Yeah.
I got Satchel Paige World Series debut. Like I said, I'm not big on debuts.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one. It's really nice too.
Yeah.
So I think I may send that one out. There's a few others. I know you have this ticket, and I'm like, God, I don't know. Give me your thoughts on this ticket right now.
Well, that's an interesting one. I was thinking about that the other day. That's one that we saw a ton of them pop up all of a sudden.
And for those that don't know, that's a Tiger Wood very first debut.
Change the screen so it's just the two of us again. So we can
sure.
Because you're too small.
Right.
But no, on that one, I was thinking, we haven't really seen that one come up for auction in the last couple of months.
No, there's a couple on eBay, and it's one of those where it's maybe not the right time. I just don't know, the debut future. Like I feel more comfortable with historical tickets. When it comes to debut, I'm a little more.
You think that
there's more
a bubble,
more variance of where it can go.
Yeah.
Because historic game is a historic game. Nothing's going to change. But a debut, some people may think, well, what was the big deal? He just ran on the field and ran off. Yeah. But then other people, like you say, I mean, it's like a rookie card. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And that opinion could change in the future as far as ticket collectors go. So I think the one counter to that position is that the Jackie Robinson debut will always be the holy grail of tickets to me. And it's a debut. And obviously it's a very significant historic debut, but it's a debut. So then that kind of gets you down that rabbit hole of what other debuts can I find?
Right.
So that's one counter to that, other than the whole rookie card and nobody knew it was important when it happened. So it's a lot more rare. And
right.
But
yeah, it's really hard to sell the goats of the sport, the historical guys. Like, oh, I have that Tiger Woods, but it's Tiger Woods, man. In 100 years, they're going to be talking about Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. The debuts of goats or, just even big names will always be important, but will a Ted Simmons debut be important? Probably not. A Jack Morris debut, right. Not unless you're specifically a collector of that type of thing, like I am. So it's important to me, but that's a pretty narrow market for it to hold, long term. So
have you bought anything lately?
I did. I made a pretty big purchase, but I don't want to go into details.
After we shut it down, you can tell me about it.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to send in some consignment. I'll just say that to pay for it.
I bought this on Booger Stubs the other day. It was Kawhi's shot in the Eastern Conference Finals. I never really seen one. It was amazing shape. And I love big historical moments. So I bought that. And I bought this on Golden, and I think I may have got caught up, but I got the biggest kick out of this game. And it was in really amazing condition. It's the game where Pedro Martinez threw down
Don Zimmer. That's a great one.
It's full and it's a 9. And I was like, man, and it looks really nice. I was like, you know what? That's a problem also with auctions, which is great for the seller, is when you're a buyer and you're bidding on a bunch of things, you almost feel like you need to walk away with something.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to go over. You don't want to go 0 for 7. So then you're like, well, I'll keep betting on this one. And then you win it. And you're like, did I really want to pay that much
Had to
for
get something.
that?
Yeah, I know, and that's kind of where it's almost an addiction. The
Right.
whole auction thing. I don't know. I have to sometimes just put it down, and especially if there's not something I really want in the auction. But there was the other one I wanted to talk about was that eBay. The 40/40 club.
Yeah. Me
Do you have
put
that
that
one
up.
up? So our friend Justin, who we've had on, he had sold on eBay this one, the 40/40 Jose Canseco first 40/40, signed and slabbed, and it went for $261, and then, which was really low, way lower than I thought it would be. I mean, it costs what, $100 to get it slabbed, and I don't know what it costs to get it signed, but that seems like a great deal. And so then I just noticed today there's this auction on eBay, and it's just straight auction, not signed, not slabbed, same ticket, $406, and it's a new listing. So this brings up that old debate: why does anybody ever bid early on an eBay auction? What's the point?
Unless this was a 10-day auction, I guess there's 6 days, 4 hours left. So yeah, give me your theories on what happened with Justin's ticket.
So whenever I see this, I don't know why Justin's went so low. It shouldn't have, but that's just kind of.
I guess the other thing is, like we talk about on eBay, how many people are searching or save searching Jose Canseco 40/40?
True. Yeah. And so you don't know. Like if it's a regular auction, then people are just typing in tickets and looking at everything that's available.
Like for debut, it's easy. You type the player and debut in, and you save it.
Yeah.
Or if it's a historical game, you type that in, and then
right. Okay. So you could type in maybe I don't know. Nobody's looking for Canseco.
But it's a cool ticket, a 40/40.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
Absolutely. I remember it well. Yeah. So but then this one, so same situation. It doesn't have anything listed that's any different, and it's going for $466. So whenever I see this dynamic where a ticket is bid up early, higher than probably I think it's worth, then I automatically lose interest in it. I might still follow it just to see where it ends up, but I'm probably not going to bid on it, because to me that is a red flag that it's being manipulated somehow. Because why would anybody care to bid it up so high early when you shouldn't reveal to the world what you're willing to pay for it?
Right. So you're saying this one's getting shilled?
Well, I mean, I don't know the owner of it. I don't know the bidders or anything, but there's a lot of different ways to shill something. I'm not saying that the seller is doing anything, but if somebody else owns it, for example, another copy of it, and they want, there's another bid on it. just somebody must be watching us. They got so excited that they just placed another bid.
They got another bid on it.
Yeah, but
well, look at here. This tells you all you need to know. Look at the bidding action. It's from two guys.
Two people.
Right. Yeah. IO and 03 all the way to the top.
So those two people have a lot of feedback. So it's not just, burner accounts or anything. But why are those two people in some bidding war right now? When obviously if they have that much feedback, they know about the free snipe services that you can use, and they know, they know how eBay works.
Right. Yeah, doesn't you would think. You would think, yeah. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. This is just one of those things. It's not a huge deal or anything. It's now it's $496. Bid it up. Keep it going. People are loving it. I want to see it higher.
Yeah. It was $466 when we started. So. I don't know. I don't have anything to do with this, but it's a good example, and it's a real-time example.
Perfect timing. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So did it just go back down?
Yeah, I don't know if because we were clicking on it.
You had it up in a different window.
Yeah.
See, and so the other thing that can be done, and I don't know if eBay still allows this or they have some kind of way to prevent it now, but it used to be that you could bid early and then retract your bid just to reveal what the top bid was. And I know that people used to do that all the time. I don't know if they prevent it now, but that's another good reason not to bid early on an eBay auction.
Right. You know, I think I also read somewhere a while back that eBay was going to do extended bidding in the soon.
And that would solve a lot of the problems. I don't know. You know, they have such an old system that maybe it's just a challenge to.
Right. It just seems it's in every seller's best interest and eBay's best interest to have some kind of extended bidding. Maybe it doesn't extend forever, but
yeah,
I feel like it's just a race. Like, oh my gosh, we got to get our bid right before 5 seconds left, and then we shill, and then hopefully we win it.
And you don't get another chance to reevaluate. That's just, and so
they don't get that effect of the, hey, he thinks it's worth that much. Now I think it's worth that much more.
Yeah, we give everybody, because how many times have you lost an auction and then looked at the final price and said, yeah, I probably would have paid that.
Yeah, there's like, oh, you missed out by $1, and you just think, well, if I would have went $50 more, I would have won it, and you would have done that.
Exactly.
And just a lot of money they're missing out on, and the sellers for not having that.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, did you have anything else? I know we kind of didn't think we had 2 big hour-plus stuff tonight, but definitely was trying to get something in every week, and there's always something to talk about for sure.
Always something, yeah. I don't know. That's about it for me. I think we covered just about everything that we wanted to. Yeah.
I know there's some few auctions coming up. I think Heritage or a few others. Probably going to keep an eye on. But yeah, I know the big Heritage one is end of August, and there should be some monsters, and that's that Babe Bows Out ticket, and there'll be some other ones too. So it should be interesting.
Your stuff would go into?
What's that?
Is that the one that your stuff will go into if you?
Probably. I know I'm at least put a few things in there.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, all right.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
Good talk. I think we'll try to knock something out again next week and just go from there.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.